Hey, good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. I am happy to be here again. I hope you guys are too. And so I just wanted to welcome all of you success creators to today's training. Today is a training that is actually very near and dear to my heart. And I know some of you guys know this, some of you guys don't know this, but I have always been a part, have I've always had experiences with energy and energy healing, and that has very much affected the way that I've lived my life. I grew up in a very, like, very scientific Catholic family, so all that energy woo woo stuff was just never talked about, was never explained. And in fact, some of the things that happened to me when I was a kid, my mom told me don't tell anybody about it because everyone's going to think you're crazy for it. So I just never really talked about it. Luckily, with the internet and more people being able to connect with each other, those of us that have these capabilities are able to talk more freely about it. So, in today, I am going to talk a bit about energy because I think it's a really important thing that often gets overlooked in a lot of the business communities and you know, just like a lot of business coaches and a lot of different things, people that I see are, they talk all about the skills and the tools and even the mindset, but they don't necessarily bring in that, I guess you could say, spiritual aspect into their business. And so that's what today's topic is going to be about. And it's actually all about getting your energy right for your clients. Um, when I talk about energy, you can use the word God, you can use whatever religion you believe or dogma, or you can say divinity, or you can actually just think about the physics of it because it's all kind of the same thing. So, ever since I was really little, I just want to give you this little backstory. Ever since I was really little, I was able to see the red energy and the white energy. You know what? Before I begin, I just want to make sure that the sound is up on this because um, I've had issues, right, with that before. So the red energy. Okay, there we go. All right. So just making sure. So anyway, so the red energy and the white energy. So if you want to get into like the physical aspects of it, like the actual physics aspect of it, red energy comes from the earth. It is like similar to microwaves and magnetic energy. It's got a very low moving waveform to it. And then the energy that would come from above has a very fast paced, it, on really cloudy days when I was a kid, I could just see it so clearly. It was really bizarre. And it was like an energy beyond like the ultraviolet because I could actually see ultraviolet color spectrum when I was young. It was very difficult actually. But I've kind of lost that over the time. But anyways, so I could always see this bright white energy. And I say white, but it's like this really, it's like above the ultraviolet. But so today, one of the things I want to talk about, because I think this gets brought up probably more frequently, whether or not it is talked about directly with my clients. I think every single week there's some aspect of this that is, as I said, brought up, right? So in particular, when it comes to, I'm keeping my eye on the comments just in case. All right. So in particular, when as a healer, as someone who provides transformations for other people, and we guide people, and we're usually guiding people through things that are difficult for them, right? So because they're difficult, there's probably some trauma involved in it, and it is so important for us as transformational, oh my gosh, I hate it when my words leave me. Transformational people that create transformation, help people through their transformations. That we ourselves keep our energy grounded and connected, and I see it all the time with especially new entrepreneurs, people who are, getting on this course, going into this coaching program, downloading this freebie, seeing this Facebook Live, going over here to this challenge. And, there's so much information, and it's very easy to get confused about where you should go and what you should do. And you owe it to your clients to stay grounded and focused on what you're doing, because from an energy standpoint, we all know this. We've seen those people where like they just kind of have like a crazy energy about it. And I learned this concept a long time ago, and it's the easiest one for me to explain it. So I'll explain it to you in case you don't know. So when we are babies, we are corded, like we have an umbilical cord to our mother, and we literally get everything from them. We get energy, we get food. If our mother is grounded, or the person who is carrying us, if you prefer that, but I'm going to use the word mom, they if they were crazy and ungrounded, we will feel that energy. If they are connected and grounded, we will feel that energy too. And then as babies, ideally our moms are grounded and centered. And so we come into this world with this ability to be grounded and centered. And then as the umbilical cord breaks, we then learn how to take the energy from our mom, because we still know how we have that connection. We have an invisible cord that is connecting us. So even though the physical cord is gone, we still have an energetic cord that connects us. And it is through that cord that we get our energy. And too often our moms are not, I don't want to say emotionally equipped, but basically emotionally equipped, or don't have the experience or the ability to ground themselves. And so they don't have enough energy for themselves. And so as we're pulling the energy from them, a lot of times they're cutting off our energy. And then we end up with these like our cord splits, and then it flails out because we need to get our energy from somewhere, right? Like matter is not created or destroyed. And so energy is not created or destroyed. So everything that you take into your body, whether it be food, water, and energy from people, it's this cycle, right? Like we constantly are creating this cycle of energy. Sometimes it's through physical matter, and sometimes it's through this energetic matter. This has all been documented. Like they can see these energy connections between people. They can even, the connections, defy the physics of space and time, and people actually have these connections in different parts of the world. So even if you are separated from your loved one, you still will have an energetic cord that connects you. And when one person is affected, the other person's energetic system gets affected as well. So going back to the whole cording, so if our moms, usually for no fault of their own, right? It's just their life that they've been living with their issues. They don't know how to ground themselves. And so then we grow up not really knowing how to ground ourselves and be present and be connected. And, a lot of times people will try to find that. All people will try to find that same connection in something else. Sometimes people turn to like drugs and alcohol. Some people turn to nature. I know a lot of people who are like scuba divers or rock climbers or cyclists or runners, they have some sort of activity that gets them grounded into that same energy source through, or gardening is actually another really good one. Like I know people who are like, I have to garden, otherwise I feel, disconnected. And that's because you're literally getting your body re-energized with that earth energy. And so then there's that aspect of it. And then the white energy that comes from above is different. So like the earth energy is kind of like the centered within you energy that it's all about you. So like all your emotions, all your everything. And this energy in the earth is like there for you to be able to disperse it down into the ground. And that's why a lot of people figure out how to do this through sports, because they figure out how to, like they're able to like get submerge themselves basically in the experience, and they let that part of their mind turn off, and they can get into the zone, as they call it. Basically you're getting into low alpha and high theta, if you're wondering. Like if you know about the different brainwave states. So there's alpha, beta, gamma, delta, and theta, and they all do different things, and our bodies are designed to be in multiple phases at the same time, and we're not actually supposed to live in one phase or another. We're supposed to actually be able to maintain and use all of those phases of energy. So anyways, going back to the earth energy. So if you're fortunate and you can find something that helps you ground into that earth energy, then it's a lot easier. But a lot of people don't have that. And usually, when you have something like anxiety about your business, about making money, about whatever it is, like speaking in front of camera, like anything that you've got going on, that is a sign that you're not connected to that grounded earth energy. It's really kind of that simple, because as soon as you do the practices that bring you back to that earth energy, the whole biochemistry of your body and the energetic composition of your body changes. And so as you actually do that, the exercises, and there's some really cool studies that have like done some scans of people as they're doing it, and they can actually watch like how the brain changes and the different areas of the brain activate to create these different neurochemicals. Your anxiety reduces. So anxiety is just basically a warning sign that you're not connected, usually to the red earth energy. And then there's the white energy that also is a very important aspect. So a lot of times people figure out one area of this or another. The white energy is this like protective energy that is also how you interact with the world. And so when people feel like they're energy suckers, they're taking all of that white energy from you. And if you are not grounded, then they also kind of take some of your other red energy too, because chances are someone that's like an energy sucker is looking for both. They're not just searching for that white energy, they're also searching for that red energy. And if you know how magnets work, it happens, they sync up with you, and then the energy actually flows between you. And so if you are at the higher amplitude and the person's at the lower amplitude, what happens is you literally, like, you guys go like this, and then eventually you sync up. Your energy literally flows into the other person. This is documented. It is like super cool science to see. So that's why sometimes there's people that you love being around them, because you feel better. And that's probably because they are at a different energy source than you are, or maybe at a same energy source from you. Like if most of the people in your life are kind of these people that are taking your energy from you, and then you're around someone who's, vibrating, or, amplitude fighting, whatever the word would be, at the same energy level that you are, they're not taking your energy, right? Like you just sync up, and it's just like a good thing. And if one of you raises your energy, then the other one can raises your energy, and you kind of create this like, whole amplitude of the way your energy grows. And so now that I kind of explained it, so like there's many different ways to do it. Probably the most common way where people get the white energy in is when they're praying to God. That it gets you into the gamma delta waves, which is connected with that. And although it's actually, gamma is actually a really low energy wave, which you would think would be Earth. They're connected, right? So like I don't know how to explain it. It's just, in general, praying does get you more into the gamma, but if you can activate gamma, you can actually, in a waking state, then you can activate delta in a waking state. So it's kind of this weird connection between the two. So another way to get into the high delta state is actually through meditation, which is different than praying. Because like if you think about it, praying, you're actively thinking, and you're putting your emotions and all of that stuff, right? Remember we talked about how red energy is like emotional energy and thoughts and all that stuff. And so as you pray and you have that emotional aspect coming through, it's taking the red energy, is kind of like mixing with it and helping it go through. But when you're in a meditative state, you're actually vibrating, brain waves are actually vibrating a lot faster. And in order to kind of compensate with that, you basically have to shut down. Like you have to kind of close everything down in your body, so that way the brain waves can actually be a lot higher. And so that's where sometimes, like with the praying, it kind of creates this, if people allow for that even flow of the energy, a lot of times they still stay stuck in that like thinking mind prayer, versus allowing the other kind of energy to come down to the protective layer. So now that I kind of mentioned that, I wanted to bring this back to your business. So now, as a healer, as a therapist, as a transformational coach, you owe it to your clients to keep your energy in check. Because if you are dispersed with your energy, you're like that flailing baby that's just trying to find energy everywhere. And it gets exhausting to be around people like that. And everyone has had those experiences. And as a business owner, if you want to attract new clients in, you can't have that energy because people are going to sense that even through your videos a mile away. Like once again, there's like cool studies that show when people watch videos, they actually sync up with the person in the video. Remember we were talking about syncing up? So if you're in a stress state watching that video, people feel that stress state. Now, if they're in an equally stressed state, they will not be affected by it. If they're in a much worse stress state, they will think you're the bomb. But if you have, depending on your clients and who you want to work with, like the people are, maybe more committed to making those changes in their life, they're probably are going to be vibrating at a higher level. And so you're going to need to have your vibration at that level in order for your message to even, come across, because they're just going to pick up on that energy. And then when you're actually in the process of working with people and developing your content and developing your strategies, you have to take into consideration this aspect of their energy. Because when they do come to you, they're going to be feeling vulnerable and they're going to be, looking to you for advice. And basically, they're going to be looking for you to have your grounded, centered energy. So that way, their entire vibration is going to raise up, right? Because they're going to have anxiety. They're going to have apprehension about all the changes that they're making. And so as a transformational provider, you do owe it to your clients to get into that grounded receiving state. And it takes both of it. So that way, because when you are truly grounded and you've got this grounded energy, and there's so many ways to do it, breathing practices, yoga, meditation, which will help you bring in that white energy. When you're in that fully present, grounded, non-flailing, cord state, then the white protective energy can actually flow through you and it actually can go out to you. And so you don't lose any of your energy. But if you don't do this first before you start working with your clients, they're going to take your energy because it's just physics. They literally sync up with you. And most of the time, they're going to be talking about what their problems are, right? Because they're coming to you for, your solutions to the problems. So you owe it to your clients to sync up your energy and to get connected to that grounding and the white energy above you. And then I do want to mention another aspect of this. So if you are an energy healer, whether or not you even consciously know about it or do it, but if you kind of think back about how you work with people, a lot of times people will send their energy to the person. A lot of times it comes from fear. A lot of times it comes from people pleasing. It's usually a trauma-based response where we want the other person to feel better, be happy, all of those things. And so we give up a part of ourselves in order to help them. But if you think about it from a perspective of sovereignty, where each person is in charge of their own body, if you are directing your energy at this person, they may not be ready for it. They may not, and you may be doing them a disservice and doing yourself a disservice, because if they are so depleted from their energy source and you are giving them your energy, even from very good intentions, maybe they're crying and you don't want them to cry, or you see that they're in pain and you just want to help the pain go away, or you can see they're struggling and you want to help their struggles, right? Whatever it is that you do, if you direct your energy towards them, you are not giving them the tools that they need to build their energy up. And so it's really important to get very present and very cognizant of the way your energy is. Do grounding exercises, whether it is a guided meditation or just a simple mantra. I say simple, mantras aren't simple. A journaling exercise, a breathing exercise, a yoga practice, anything like that, before you work with your clients, before you get onto a live, before you get into a group meeting, whatever it is that you're doing when you're working with them, you owe it to them to be grounded, so that way you can be energetically cognizant of what is going on with them. Because when you do that and you get present in your body, you then feel their energy. But instead of just giving them your energy, you can take this extra source, kind of give them a little bit of a like a protective, bubble around them while they're in there. So that way it's like the white energy creates this bubble of protection, and then they're allowed in that moment then to like ground in and go within and be centered. But if you're giving them your red energy, then they don't need to do the work themselves. And it happens. This happens all the time, right? And this is why healers get so exhausted, and care workers and, people who are making big differences in this world. It's really easy to get burnt out. And then how much can you help people? Then you're not able to like make that big impact that that you can make in this world. So that is what I wanted to talk about today. I do believe in the different chakras centers, right? So I think I've mentioned this before, but maybe I haven't. So it's interesting, but not surprising that if you look at there's 7 different chakras, like just using the main, there's actually 11 or 13, depending on which following you go through. But the 7 main ones are the root chakra, which is at the very base of your spine. Then you have your sacral chakra, and then you have your solar plex, and then your throat chakra. Oh, your heart chakra, then your throat chakra, then your third eye, and then you have the crown chakra. And so, not surprisingly, the root chakra is red, which is like that earth energy, and the crown chakra is white, which is that above energy. And if you go through historical religious practices throughout, like, millennia, and whether current or former, usually there is some form of prayer and connection, and they're usually either praying down or like reaching up, right? There's like one or the other. And so they're both very important energies. It's this balance. And actually, from your body's perspective, for those of my little nerdy people out there, the white energy is your sympathetic nervous system, and the red energy is your parasympathetic nervous system, and they work in balance. You can't be one and not have the other. You will be very out of balance. So it's important that you have this balanced system. And when you are completely depleted, obviously that's not very good. I just want to check and make sure there wasn't a comment. All right. So back to like my little quick exercise. So I just want to share this with you guys in case you don't have one that helps you connect to it. So I like to take a few moments before I meet with someone. I can do this in 5 breaths, ideally 7 breaths, but even if you don't have that time, you can do it in 5. You take your first breath, and like as you breathe in, think about all of the energy that's going through your body, and then as you breathe out, you kind of visualize your energy pushing out into the ground. And then as you breathe in, you're picturing all that energy into the ground, like swirling around and kind of getting clean. And then you breathe in and you pull that energy up. I like to go back over my spine and then, push that energy back down. So you spend a couple breaths kind of getting that grounded energy, and it's like red. And if you have the time, just swirl that energy around through each of your chakras, right? And then after you've done that for a few breaths, on another big inhale, you're going to breathe up and kind of feel your breath like expand through your cranium, which if you have a good yoga practice or embodiment practice and you have that experience, how your skull actually expands when you breathe. And so there actually is space right there. And so if you get into that practice of feeling it, it's a really cool sensation. But anyways, so as you breathe in and feel that expansion of your skull, and then feel the warm white light kind of cascade down your body. Sometimes it's warm, sometimes it's cool. Sometimes it's just like a really refreshing waterfall, right? And if it's cold out, you can think of it as a warm waterfall. If it's hot out, you can think of it as a cool waterfall. But it's just like this perfect temperature, like where it kind of like washes over your body. And so then spend a couple breaths doing that. That's why, like, if you have 5, you can do this, right? A couple to get grounded, and then a couple to bring in the white light, and then the last one is you want to picture that energy, the white and the red, swirling around and creating all the other colors through your chakra, and just kind of cleansing you and getting you grounded. Now, from a scientific basis, what you do right then is that you are toning down your limbic system, so that way you will not be as anxious or feel depressed or having all of those anxiety stuff that comes up. Maybe your nervousness, it can be a good nervousness too, but it's still a chemical reaction that's going through your body that doesn't keep you present in your body, right? Because remember, all of that feeling, whether you interpret it as a good feeling or a bad feeling, is just a reminder to you that you need to get grounded. And so when you do this, you activate the parasympathetic system, because most people live in a sympathetic nervous system state. Basically, they're on high alert all the time, and they are always looking for danger, danger, danger everywhere they see, right? And so we're going to kind of turn down that system, activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which puts us into rest and digest. This is also really good for your digestion system. This is good if you want to be able to sleep at night, all kinds of functions. Also, as an orgasm coach, I can tell you it's a very important function for orgasming as well. And so then you are actually kind of turning down that limbic system and amping up your, like, everything is safe system. And then when you do that, from the actual physical energy aspect, you are going to be at a higher amplitude of vibrational wavelengths. And so then your clients that you work with can then, sync up with you. And that way you can actually, pull some of that other white energy to help lift them up instead of having to give your own energy. All right. So I hope this was useful for you, and I will see you around next week. If you have your own practice, I would love to hear about it in the comments, because I think it's really important to share different ways of helping ourselves get grounded and being present and helping us support our clients. All right. Bye, everybody.